Thousands pilgrimages to Mount Matabian to honor Valentil legacy. Former Valentil commander and guerrilla fighter Lieutenant Timur shares his story. Nurses screen hundreds of market goers for high blood pressure in Delhi. Indigenous Australian health groups urge governments to close their life expectancy gap. Hello, welcome back to RTTL World News. I'm Sonia Madeira. Thousands have gathered at Mount Matabian to commemorate the 51st anniversary of Valentil Day, honoring the resistance fighters who sacrificed their lives for Timor-Leste's independence. Founded in 1975 as the military wing of East Timor's resistance movement, Valentil, or Armed Forces for the National Liberation of East Timor, fought to achieve independence from Indonesian occupation, with Mount Matabian serving as the final major support base during the independence struggle. The commemoration also helped pass the legacy of the resistance on to a new generation.
Bringing together veterans, families, community members, and young people at one of the country's most important historic sites.
This pilgrimage reflects the suffering and death of the heroes of the past and teaches the youth that their sacrifices have brought Timor-Leste to stand as a nation in the eyes of the world.
It is a great sadness for us. Many were left to die in 1979 when the base was destroyed by rock falls. Today, in 2026, for the first time in 24 years of independence, we come back to this historical place.
51 years after Valentil was founded, its history is being passed on to a new generation.
I brought the students to follow in the footsteps of their ancestors who suffered until death, because Timor's cause has become history, so that they can return to tell the next generation.
We are grateful to our heroes who died in the war. It's a great experience for young people to come and see with their own eyes and feel how we can continue and present our independence.
Australian veteran Michael Stone says he feels deeply honored to return to Mount Matabian.
We feel very honored to be invited by General Falu Ratalaik and President Zeram Zorta to attend the Valentil Day in this sacred place, to see the struggle of the forefathers and show their sacrifice for independence.
Lieutenant General Falu Ratalaik called on the government and community to ensure the country's development continues to honor those who fought for it.
I emphasize with particular conviction that human dignity must become a central pillar of the entire national development process, a pillar on which we build our service to the people.
President Jose Ramos Horta says Valentil serves as a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and the struggle for Timor-Leste's independence.
The values that enabled a small people to resist for decades continue to guide us. Courage in the face of adversity, discipline in the face of difficulties, solidarity among brothers and sisters, respect for human dignity, fidelity to the national cause, and the confidence that justice can triumph.
The commemoration at Mount Matabian concluded with renewed calls to preserve the legacy of the resistance and pass its history on to future generations. Jerry Madeira, RTTL World News.
Tito da Costa Cristóvão, widely known as Lieutenant Timur, is one of Timor-Leste's most prominent guerrilla fighters. As the country celebrated the 51st anniversary of Valentil last week, RTTL World News spoke to Lieutenant Timur, who shared his story as a former Valentil commander and guerrilla fighter throughout the Indonesian occupation.
Tito
da Costa Cristóvão was born in Ilhomar, Lautém municipality on the 2nd of February 1952. He left his family in Ilomar at just 5 years old to pursue primary education in Fuiloro and later studied agriculture at Fatumaka in Baucau.
I was studying at Fatumaka when a foreign priest taught us about self-determination, freedom, democracy, and equal rights. That's when I learned that as humans, we have the right to be independent.
His first military experiences came in 1974 at 22 years of age when he was conscripted to the Portuguese army. He left after almost a year of working as a driver and returned to his hometown.
In November 1975, I was appointed as a political assistant in Ilomar.
A few weeks later, after East Timor declared its independence unilaterally, on November 28, Indonesia launched a full-scale military invasion into East Timor. Mr. Leranan Timor was forced to hide, together with his family and thousands of others from his village.
When the war started, I was mostly involved in politics, but later joined the military unit as the war went on until we got our independence.
Falentil, or the Armed Forces for the National Liberation of East Timor, was the military wing of East Timor's resistance movement.
The Timorese who formed the Falentil were former Portuguese military officers. They were the pioneers. They had guns. They were trained. Many of them were sergeants and officials. They were the ones who established the armed forces for the national liberation of East Timor.
3 years into the Indonesia invasion, while living in the hideouts of the mountains, his first son was born. The hardship doubled after his wife Elsa Pinto died during the birth of their second son in 1980.
I was in a Fretilin Regional Restructure Conference. She was in a hideout with my parents. I didn't know the details, but I was told she died when delivering our second son.
He was forced to leave his youngest son in the security post close to the village, hoping he would be adopted and raised by community members.
Living in a jungle was hard. We had little to no food to feed him. We just gave him water and corn soup and whatever we had. He was 6 months old when we decided to give him up for adoption, but no one in our family wanted to take him in. So an Indonesian police commander took him in and raised him.
In 1984, Mr. Leranan Timor made the move from politics to military as he was appointed commander in the East region.
When I commanded the military, especially in a day, I made the decision to lead my unit to ambush Indonesian military forces and get more weapons because the weapons we had were old. So we needed new ones to motivate people to keep fighting and not surrender.
In a weapons raid in Ainaro, he was shot in his legs and right hand.
Most of the time, we lived in fear of being found by the enemies, and as a commander, I needed to be brave and make calls on when to move, hide, or attack.
After recovering from the injuries that nearly claimed his life, he continued to lead the Falentil guerrillas in the eastern part of East Timor until 1999. Following Timor-Leste's referendum and restoration of independence, Mr. Leranan Timor served in the Timor-Leste Defense Force and searched for his lost son. And in 2010, they met for the first time in Jakarta.
I went to meet him with an Indonesian general as a guide, and Bobby came out and hugged me, crying.
He married Sidalia Mesquita Ximenez, and they went on to have 6 children together. Lera Anantimo's legacy inspired his daughter, Titania Lera Mesquita, to pursue her studies at the Portuguese Military Academy.
No one asked me to join the military academy, but my father and other military veterans inspired me to study there.
Lera's daughter describes him as humble, despite what he has done for the country.
My father is very simple and humble. He embraces everyone and he likes to make conversation.
Lera often spent her free time with her father and listened to his story during the fight for independence.
One of the stories that really got to me was when he was shot in Ainaru and severely injured and lost his fingers.
Mr. Lera Anantimo retired from FFDTL in 2022 and later that year ran in the presidential election, receiving 7.5% of votes. Now he works as President Jose Ramos Horta's advisor.
My work is mostly advocating for defense, security, and stability of the nation. But I haven't been to the office for a week now, and the chief of the president office is a good person. Otherwise, I would be called a big no-show.
His dream is to see improvements in Timor-Leste's military capabilities.
It is the capacity building, human resources, and facilities there. For example, now we have pilots, but they don't use those skills because we don't have military aircraft.
The battle for the nation's freedom may be over, but Mr. Lera Anantimo's mission for a better Timor-Leste continues. Sonia Madeira, Paulina Quintaun, and Judas Magno, RTTL World News. Hundreds of people were screened for high blood pressure at Manlewana and Taibesi markets in Tili as part of a joint health campaign by Timor-Leste Nurses Association and its partners. The initiative is part of the Nurses Association's 16th anniversary celebrations.
On a busy weekend at the markets, vendors and buyers are being screened for signs of high blood pressure and hidden health risks. A team of nurses and nursing students, led by the Timor-Leste Nurses Association, visited the Manlewana and Taibesi markets to conduct blood pressure checks and spread health information.
We see that in our country, there are changes in people's health. Lifestyle, which is not healthy, affects blood pressure. This poses a great risk to our health and burdens the Ministry of Health.
According to the World Health Organization, approximately 35% of adults aged 30 to 79 in Timor-Leste experience high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. Market goers recognize the importance of regular checks.
I thank the Timor-Leste Nurses Association team who came to test our blood pressure. It is very important so that we can know if we are sick.
I had diabetes, so every month I went to the hospital. I took medicine that changed the condition a little, but every month I always go to consultation.
Previously, I was checking my blood pressure at the center of Komoro every month, and my blood pressure was normal, and today it is good.
During the screening activity, the Timor-Leste Nurses Association detected slightly raised blood pressure in 35-year-old Mr. Suarez and 5 other participants.
We give them health promotion on how they can prevent raised blood pressure and how to approach the health center so that they can control, treat, and take medication for hypertension.
If AETL detects someone with high blood pressure, they must take some preventive action.
The team of nurses warned that frozen and fast foods are major contributors to hypertension.
We encourage our communities first to be able to live healthy, eat healthy foods, reduce eating foods that contain a lot of sodium, contain a lot of sugar, contain a lot of fat or cholesterol, and rest with sufficient time. Then exercise at least 30 minutes a day so that our body remains in good condition.
People diagnosed with hypertension are advised to visit their local health center each month for a checkup and regular medication. Vicky Madeira, Judas Magno, RTTL World News.
After 5 years leading UN Women in Timor-Leste, Nishta Satyam is approaching the end of her tenure as head of office, reflecting on the country's progress towards gender equality and women's empowerment. Speaking with RTTL World News, Ms. Satyam shares what she has learned from Timorese women and communities and highlights some of UN Women's key contributions during her time in the country.
When you first arrived in Timor-Leste, what were your expectations about the country's progress on gender equality, and how have those expectations changed over the past 5 years?
I have to say that Timor-Leste has, both across the constitutional governments of the 8th and the 9th, and particularly the people and the women of Timor-Leste, have taken me by a very, very pleasant surprise by their strength, their resilience, their courage, their spirit of going and getting things done. That's not very common in most island countries. They're very laid back, and I worked in many of them. But what I can definitely say is that I am walking out with tons of experience, a lot of smiles, and a very productive 5 years of working in the policy space, working with women on the ground, working with the government, working with working level people in the government. And I do think that with a certain amount of confidence that I can say that at least the gender landscape that I drew in my mind in the first year, most of those milestones I have been able to achieve. And when I say I, it's not me, but it's the UN Women Timor-Leste team. And we have been able to close that. So it's been a very productive 5 years for me.
What have you learned from Timorese women and communities during this experience?
There's so much to learn from Timorese women that I think I was very naive to think that I would come back, I would come here and I would have something to offer. But on the contrary, as one of the stations, this country has given me more than I have given. And I have learned really in my close interactions with Timor-Leste, with women from Timor-Leste on the ground, the power of resilience. And there was, just to give you an example, there was this one very wonderful parliamentarian who we used to meet quite often in meetings. She said, we went through a very, very difficult occupation, and the current prime minister was hiding under my house for almost a long period, and my house was searched. Both my children were killed. There was a lot of indignity that she had to go through. And she said, I lost everything. I lost my family. I lost my dignity. I lost my children. I lost my brothers. I lost everything. But the one thing that she said at the end, she said, but the one thing that I never lost is I never lost myself as a woman. And I think Timorese women have been witness to a lot of brutality in the past, but they've bounced back with immense courage and a lot of smiles and a lot of positivity. And I think that's not just about women, that applies to men too. And that is the energy of the country. And you feel it the moment you land at the airport.
What do you consider to be some of UN Women Timor-Leste's most important contributions during your time as head of mission?
We've very, very active in both the presidential and prime minister elections, in training women, and I think also strengthening the capacity of all the ministries that we work with: Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Gender, Ministry of CEFOPE, so many I can name, but closing the legal gap strengthening women's voices, strengthening civil society organizations that work on women, um, and also creating women role models from the ground, not from the top, but from the ground. Uh, and the last I would like to say is, this is my favorite, recognizing women veterans. Whenever we talk about veterans, when you close your eyes and you say, who's a veteran, you will automatically imagine a man with a gun or a man who's fighting. But we completely managed to forget that the women did not pick up the guns. Some of them did, but mostly they didn't. But they managed the food, they managed the intelligence network. The women carried the country on their shoulders, and because of that, men could fight. And so the recognition of women veterans and their contribution to me is very, very close to my heart. So we had a project called Project Matria, which we would like to continue. And I hope it makes it to your history books and education curriculum.
Thank you for talking with RTTL News.
It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
In international news, Aboriginal health groups say more serious efforts are needed to improve on hard-won gains in closing the Indigenous life expectancy gap. Despite some improvements, the Northern Territory still has the country's highest rate of preventable deaths for First Nations people. The doctors say the health system is only part of the solution.
Alice Springs resident Eileen Hoosen says she's living proof her local Aboriginal health service is helping close the life expectancy gap.
I'm being treated for diabetes, but I'm a borderline diabetic, thanks to the services that I get from Congress.
Over 50 years, the Congress Health Service has prioritised finding and treating chronic disease patients earlier. New research by the Menzies Health Institute has found it has helped reduce Central Australian preventable deaths.
So Aboriginal men, when Congress started, life expectancy was 47 years, it's now 65, and women are living to 70.
But the Territory still has the highest Indigenous life expectancy gap in the country.
We've got to address overcrowding, education, and lift people out of poverty.
In the top end, the remote Elcho Island community say they're losing too many loved ones to chronic disease.
They are dying, like only 30, 40, 50, taking heart attack all the time.
They developed a healthy eating coaching program which significantly reduced unhealthy weights, blood sugar and cholesterol, an evaluation by Melbourne University found. But it's facing closure because neither the Territory or federal governments say they have money for extra programs.
And we really need to have more accountability within government around funding things that are supported by the community and known to work.
The federal government has increased funding to Indigenous health services by 1/4 in the last 5 years. But many Aboriginal communities feel their life expectancy gap won't close without more support for local initiatives and improved living conditions.
The Bowen Basin in central Queensland is known as coal country, and when workers knock off for the day, you'll find many practicing a new skill. Moranbah's Darts Club has taken on a second life as a buzzing place for the community to get together.
Eyes on the prize, lining up the perfect aim. Darts can be a casual game or serious. It's for anyone who wants to have a throw.
Fitness level, it doesn't have to be high intense. So something different, I don't know, I get a bit of a kick out of it, I enjoy it. It can be as competitive or as fun as you want it to be.
The local darts hall in Moranbah is the place to be on a Tuesday night.
You don't have to be the best, you just come in, have a beer, listen to music, throw some darts, and it just clears your head a bit.
A few years ago, the club folded, but some dedicated members were determined to bring it back to life.
We come back in, we gradually grew from no one back to, I think we're 60-something members last season.
They host weekly social nights and regular tournaments, along with fundraising events.
Just have a fun night, you know, bit of a breakaway from, especially the lads living in the camp.
Moranbah is home to 9,500 people, a majority working in the mining industry. Mine work can be isolating, with long shift work hours and fly-in, fly-out workers, hundreds of kilometres away from their families. The Darts Club offers a place for social connection.
We really push the mental health side of things for the people who are away for their families, who aren't lucky enough for the locals to come home every night.
The newer players learn from the veterans.
Keep your body still. Yeah. Throw with your arm, not your whole body. Rhythm, how to count. A lot of it's counting. So 90% of the game is math, knowing where to go next.
While these players are here just to have some fun, there are plans in the works to put sport on a Commonwealth stage.
Competition aside, for this club, it's all about bullseyes and banter.
And now tomorrow's weather. In Delhi, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers in the afternoon. A top temperature of 31 and a low of 20 degrees. Partly cloudy in Baucau, temperatures ranging between 28 and 17 degrees. Partly cloudy in Lautem with a high of 28 and a low of 19 degrees. In Bobonaro, mostly cloudy with a top temperature of 29 and a low of 13. And sun and areas of high clouds in the morning in Aileo, then mostly cloudy in the afternoon, temperatures ranging between 27 and 11. Sunshine and a few clouds in Kupan, a high of 32 and a low of 20. Partly sunny in Bali with temperatures ranging between 34 and 20. Hazy sunshine in Jakarta with a couple of afternoon showers, a top of 34 and a low of 24. In Seoul, hot and humid with sun through high clouds, a high of 33 and a low of 25 degrees. Partly sunny and humid in Darwin with temperatures ranging between 31 and 22 degrees. In Sydney, mostly sunny and pleasant, a high of 23 and a low of 16. Mostly sunny and comfortable in Lisbon, temperatures ranging between 25 and 17 degrees. In London, mostly cloudy, a top temperature of 23 and a low of 16. And in Belfast, intervals of clouds and sunshine, a top temperature of 19 and a low of 12 degrees. Thanks for joining us again on the program. RTTL World News will be back with more stories on Thursday. Bye for now.